I used to be one of the best players in the elite division hockey team, which was the pride of our Scandinavian town. As a hockey star, I got a number of invitations to all kinds of events, and I accepted to act as a model in a fashion show. To my great pleasure, a very handsome blonde girl and I were to be a bride and groom in the grande finale of the show. The beautiful girl, Anna Landgren, and I, David Erickson, had a good time at the party after the show. In fact, so good that I found her in my bed the next morning, and after that we continued sharing that bed every night. It was a pleasant time for Anna and me because we were invited to a lot of great events and parties. Anna really liked that those days. There was a problem when we wanted to get married because I owned a nice house, a fair amount of money shares for several successful companies, and an expensive car, while Anna owned only her clothes and a lot of shoes. After several quarrels, I got Anna to accept and sign an agreement which stated that everything we owned before the wedding would remain the private property of the owner. Anna agreed at last, because the main reason for our big wedding was a lifetime of true love and not a profitable divorce. We had a good marriage until several weeks ago when Anna began to have strange excuses for avoiding intimacy during some Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday evenings. At first I didn't care, but then I asked her if something was wrong, and she denied anything. It was one of those days when I was in a bad mood because everything went wrong the day before, and Anna once again denied me intimacy. Even the weather was bad, cold, windy, and rainy, and that increased my bad mood. Back at my job after a boring, tasteless lunch with a nagging coworker, I found out that I had forgotten some important notes I needed for my job at that very moment. Only one thing to do: go home and get it. At home, I got a strange feeling that something was wrong in the kitchen, and it took me some time to find out what. I noted that my wife Anna had obviously been at home and brought in the mail from the mailbox and laid it on the workbench where she used to lay it when she was back home from work at about 3 o'clock. The mail was still a little wet from the rain, so she must have been at home slightly before me. Because our relationship wasn't on top that day, and she never used to come home during her working time, I got curious. Was she denying my attempts for intimacy the previous evening because she was with somebody else during her lunch break? A look in our bedroom showed everything was exactly as I had left it in the morning. But a quick look in the spare bedroom gave me a great surprise because there was a gold-plated lighter on the brown carpet slightly under the bed. Neither Anna nor I are smokers, and it was clear that a smoker had been in that room probably not more than a half hour before me. Now I was really suspicious and decided to find out what Anna was into, so I laid back the lighter where it was found. Nobody had smoked in the house, and if Anna's visitor had been a woman, she had kept her lighter in a handbag and hardly had any reason to take it out. Therefore, everything indicated that the lighter belonged to a man and had fallen out of his pocket when he did something on the spare room bed. Not difficult to suspect what. Back home from work, the evening went on just as usual, but none of us mentioned being at home during the day. When Anna was hooked to a TV soap opera she used to watch, I went to the spare room and found that the lighter was gone from the floor but not laid anywhere I could see it. Not in the spare room, not in the kitchen. Later in the evening, I pretended to have some important work to do before going to bed, so Anna went to bed before me and was sleeping when I came to the bedroom. I undressed, but instead of going directly to the bed, I sneaked out to the kitchen and then to the hall where Anna's handbag was at its usual place. A quick look at it showed that the lighter now was in her handbag. No doubt Anna was involved in something with somebody, and it was my intention to find out what. My suspicion grew further when checking her handbag again the next evening, and the lighter was gone. There had been a folder in the junk mail a couple of weeks ago from a locksmith and alarm store about their alarms. What caught my interest was a small alarm detector with a camera the size of a smoke detector. It was equipped with a prepaid cell phone card and could send alarm messages and pictures to a cell phone. The next day, I bought that unit together with 2 smoke detectors almost the same size. Everything was battery-operated, so the installation would be a piece of cake on Saturday, when Anna had some errand to run for her parents and the kids were out playing. The test showed that it worked better than expected, and when Anna was back, she had no objections. I simply told her that we had talked about smoke detectors at my job, and it had been obvious that we needed a few more for acceptable protection. I set the alarm to active Monday through Friday, from the time I left home to the time Anna would be back home just before the kids returned from school. Everything worked fine on the first Monday and Tuesday. Then the shit hit the fan on Wednesday, and the alarm went off a few minutes after noon. The small pictures on my cell phone showed Anna and a man kissing in our hallway. The worst possible thing was obviously going on in my house, and the only possible way for me to take care of this situation was an immediate action. If Anna and that man were being intimate in the spare room, they hopefully were still in action when I got home and rushed in on them with a camera to collect evidence about my dear wife's secret pleasures. Of course, they could even be doing completely innocent matters, but their kiss indicated something far from that. Speeding, I succeeded in getting home in almost 10 minutes and left my car at the street so it could not be seen from the spare room window. I sneaked into the house as silently as possible and could neither hear anything from the kitchen nor the living room. The spare room door was closed, but coming closer, I could hear some muffled sounds from there. My camera was switched to automatic action, taking 9 pictures with every push on the button. I took a deep breath, held the camera in a fast grip, opened the door, and went into the room. I was prepared to see the worst, and that was exactly what I could see. Anna, who still had her blue top on, was lying on her back with spread legs. Between Anna's spread legs was a man's white ass pumping up and down. He was wearing a bright yellow shirt, so it looked like the Ukrainian flag. My entrance took them by surprise, and I took a second serial of 9 pictures before I put the camera in my pocket. I took a few steps to the bed and gave the still surprised man a couple of very hard hits in his face. Obviously, I had got him rather groggy because he didn't try any attempts to resist when I dragged him off my screaming wife. Taking him to the door and throwing out him of the house went without any real problems, maybe because I gave him a few further blows on the way. Back in the spare room, my now loudly crying wife had put on her small black-laced panties and held up her trousers. I told her, "Sexy dressed for lover boy, get out and take away that damn garbage I threw out. Get out of here and take it away from my property." My sobbing wife tried to tell me the standard crap talk of such matters. "I'm sorry and can't explain how it could happen, because I didn't do it intentionally. I promise you that it was both the first and the last time I'm doing such a stupid thing. Please forgive me." I took up her lover's trousers from the floor, put my hand in the right side pocket, took up the gold-plated lighter, held it up before her, and said, "Don't lie to me, because I know for sure that today it was the same procedure that has happened every week in this room." When Anna saw the lighter, she understood that I had seen it for a week ago and had drawn the right conclusion about why it was under the bed. Now she screamed, "Oh my God!" Anna's lover boy was a co-worker of hers by the name of Richard Gillendahl. I had met him and his very beautiful wife at a dinner hosted by one of Anna's bosses. A look at his driving license found in his wallet told me it was correct. It even showed that he was 8 years younger than Anna. After that, I told Anna to go out to Richard with his clothes. She did, and a few minutes later they left in her car. I rang my job and said I would stay at home for the remaining time that day and some hours the next day. My marriage was crushed to pieces, so there was no reason for me to let that cheating Richard have a happy marriage with his lovely wife. Action had to be taken as soon as possible. Though a strong temptation to sit down in my most comfortable armchair with a bottle of the raw Rockstar whiskey Jack Daniels that I had won in a lottery at my job, I decided to fix the necessary things first and save my sorrow for later times. The first thing to do was download the pictures from the camera. Though most of them were okay when seen in the camera, one of the last pictures was great on the computer screen. Both faces were visible, and Richard's privates, now out from Anna, were clearly visible and had lost their firmness, indicating that Anna was cheating with a very poorly equipped man. It was a very humiliating picture for both of them. The second thing to do was a phone call to the bank where Richard's wife was working. When she took my call, I simply told her the truth about what Anna and her husband had done in the spare room. She gave me her email address, and I sent her the picture. My next step was to find the phone and email list for employees at Anna's job, which I knew she kept somewhere in our home. It was found in one of her drawers. I sent the picture to 10 important people at the office where Anna and Richard worked. The first of the expected phone calls came 10 minutes later. It was from Richard, who shouted, "What the hell are you damn idiot doing? Be sure that I'll get you regret it." My reply was, "What the hell are you doing? You made a big mistake and have to pay for that." He shouted again, "I'll sue you." "Why in the hell are you whining? You want Anna? You got her and can keep her forever." He hung on. The next call came from a crying Anna. "How can you be so cruel to me?" My reply was short. "Who is cruel? Don't you think it is a cruel humiliation for me to find my wife cheating on me in my own home? That is a damn cruel humiliation indeed." Anna ended her call. Of course, sending the small penis intimate picture of the cheaters to many people was a nasty thing to do. But I didn't regret my actions because I could not see any other options for my vengeance. I was fighting for my own reputation. I had worked hard to be an admired star in our hockey team, respected for never stepping outside, doesn't matter how famous or rough players we met. Though it was several years since my last match, I was still very popular among our team supporters and our junior players. A man to look up to, a man who, thanks to the hockey, had got everything a young hockey player could dream about. If I had let a man be with my beautiful wife without taking any vengeance, my reputation would have turned from an admired sports star to a poor wimp and a laughingstock. Not my way to play games. The problem wasn't if I had been too cruel to Anna and Richard. No. My problem was if my actions were rough enough to be regarded as an acceptable revenge among the public. Though the tiny tool intimacy picture had only been mailed to 11 people, I was sure that it would be out in the whole town within a short time. Then I got my third phone call. It was Anna's mother who said Anna was in a total mess at her house and would stay there for a while, so it was up to me to take care of the kids. After that, she began blaming me for what I had done to Anna. I promised to take good care of our kids, though nobody knew for sure if I was their real father or not. Regarding Anna's mess, I told her that she ought to ask her own unfaithful daughter why she had got her problems. My mother-in-law had never liked me, and that phone call could hardly increase her positive feelings for me. Later that evening, I got the fourth call about Anna's cheating. It was from Marie Gillendahl, who asked what I intended to do and if I had more photos. I promised to send her all 18 photos and told her I planned for divorce because my wife's cheating could hardly be regarded as any one-time fling. Marie said Richard had confessed that his affair with Anna had lasted 5 weeks with 7 intimacy sessions in my house, and neither Marie could see any possibility to avoid divorce in her marriage with Richard. Only a few minutes after Marie's call, the doorbell rang and Anna's mother stood outside. I let her in, and she told me that Anna would stay with her for a week, so I got a chance to calm down. I replied that I was as calm as a cucumber and would be filing for divorce the next day because now I knew for sure that Anna had been with Richard in my house for at least 5 weeks, but probably a much longer time. Anna's mother turned pale and quit her nagging at me when she saw the small penis intimacy picture of Anna and Richard. Anna slept in the spare room for 3 months until Richard and she found an apartment they rented together. As expected, they were laughing stock in our town for a while, but such matters don't last forever because there are always new public scandals replacing the old ones. Anna still gets invitations from boozed, horny men who usually tells her that a great girl as she needs something better and bigger than what her poorly equipped lover can give her. I bought a new house that is under construction in a Lakeview area and will put this old house for sale for a nice profit. Though Anna acted as an unfaithful wife against me, she is a good mother, so she and I are sharing the custody of our children. A DNA test verified that I'm their father. I'm single and am still missing Anna as hell, so there have not been any serious attempts from me to find anybody to replace her. One thing is sure. I will never take Anna back, though Anna says that Richard and she are expected to split up in the near future. Anna has confessed to her best friend that her affair with Richard was a terrible mistake. She has to regret her remaining life, and living together with him is a poor life compared to the good life with her family in the marriage. And that's the end of today's story. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and drop a comment below. Your support helps the algorithm push my content further. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps me keep creating more stories for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.